Hello everyone and welcome back to the Star Fox Adventures playthrough. Today we'll be doing the Darkice Mines, which is the first quote-unquote temple of the game. And straight away, we need to rescue Tricky because he has been captured again by the Sharp Claw. You can hear he's yelling in the background there if you strain a little bit. Yeah. Thanks, Tricky. Such a help. Seriously. What was it the Queen Earthwalker said? A dinosaur of noble birth. Oh, God. Also, I've played this game for ages, and I've only just noticed Fox's human fingers. Oh, that's so weird. Oh, that's so creepy. Anyway, the Darkice Mines, as a first temple, as you can see by the video length, it's really short. Like, I complete this basically with no hassle. It's not so much that I've done it so much. Like I said, this is kind of like my second time playing through it in a few years, and it's just a really simple temple, and it's just too easy at points. It really is. Now, before I started recording this part, there was a door. You just saw it there, the ice door over there. It had a barrier for the enemies on it. Before I started recording, I killed the enemy just because we've seen the combat before, and I thought it's just best to get it moving, so I cut all that out. And now we get Tricky back, and really, all you need Tricky for really is to like go into that ice door and melt something with his flame breath. I actually haven't talked about that yet. That flame breath. That's it's really strange. Why flame breath? Couldn't we just have more like little animal buddies that like instead of just Tricky being able to breathe fucking fire? Now, I kind of moan because it's a little bit weird, but like on the plus side, he does actually have some combat utility now. If you're fighting some Sharp Claw, you can ask him to like burn them for you. It's really kind of cool actually, and it kind of gives him a lot more use besides the little thing that follows you and solves puzzles. I did say before that this place was going to be a fire motif. Yeah. Now, this is Darkice's daughter, who was mentioned a few parts ago.
Who are you?
She's a character, I guess.
Prince of the Earthwalkers. We've been sent by the Snowhorn Gatekeeper to find the Spellstone. Do you know where it's hidden?
Yeah, we were sent to find the Spellstone. We're not going to help you at all.
The Gatekeeper is my father. Did he send you to rescue me?
I'm sorry, believe
Why would you say that, Fox? Just say yes.
We were only sent to find the Spellstone.
The old
Darkice's a dick.
had to save the tribe. If it wasn't for my father being a gatekeeper, none of this would have
I
happened in the first place.
I don't know what point they're trying to make. I really don't. I'm trying to emphasize Belina, but I don't know what point you're trying to make. Why is it his fault he's a gatekeeper? Well, she's dead. If it's not the crushing rocks, it'll be the lack of oxygen that kills her. Now I ask, in this cutscene we're going to find out that Fox can't follow her. He has to go a certain way, like that little crack in the wall you can see on the right there. Why can't he just climb over that? It's not that high. In fact, throw Tricky over first to make sure it's safe. Well, it's lucky she broke down that wall, otherwise we wouldn't be going anywhere, let's be honest. Now, this is kind of like, this little part is like a nice little discrepancy that I like about this place, like the Darkice Mines. It's got like ice puzzles in it, and I really like that, because it's not like totally original. I mean, like Hailfire Peaks from Banjo-Tooie kind of did the fire ice thing first, from what I know anyway. And I don't know, I just love that setting, that whole fire and ice thing together. It's kind of cool. No pun intended. Now, it was said a few parts ago by Slippy, I'll just reiterate it here. It's icy water, and even though Fox has fur, which should protect him from the cold, do not fall in the icy water because you will get hurt slowly and you can die. Again, Fox has fur, why is this hurting him? It shouldn't really hurt him that badly. Yes, we've unleashed the unlimited supply of little icy platforms you can jump on. There's no time limit here, so don't worry about worry about like getting there before all the icy things run out. As I said before, it's unlimited, which is really strange. I said before, like, about those little bat creatures in Thorntail Hollow that they were annoying. Those, like, worm things that come out of the ground are just as. Oh, God, speaking of the bat creatures. It's not so much the fact that they're quite hard to hit, and, like, they have to get down to a certain height before you can hit them. It's just, like, it's that laugh as well. It's that it just fills me totally with dread, because I'm like, oh, God. Here they come again. I love the music in this section though. It reminds me a lot of the Crystal Palace from Paper Mario. I love like the use of synthesized music in ice places. I don't know, it makes it feel like really otherworldly and ethereal. Especially the Crystal Palace music from Paper Mario. I love that track so much. But you know, speaking of music, I'm not really a fan too much of the Darkice Mines track. It's a little bit too kind of... It's a little bit unsubtle in trying to say, like, this is a bad place. And it's like, okay, yeah, cool peeps. Literally, you can see me tanking it through all this stuff. If you look how much damage that fire actually gives you, one little chunk out of your three... your free kind of like hearted life meter isn't that much, so I'm literally just going to tank any damage and just go and run through it. At least it'll dry fox off from the cold water he was in earlier. Once again, an example of Grundate being an absolute genius.
I'm sure you and your little friend can find it before they do. Time is short.
Literally, we've only got 8 minutes left of the part. As you can tell, yeah, this is really fucking easy. Ignore all the Sharpclaw. You do not need to fight them. And really the only thing you need to do here is this, like, I'm going to climb up this ladder here. This is a suspiciously tricky kind of little section here. Like, I do it well here. I literally first time, no editing required, I'm pretty proud of that. But when I've played it on the first playthrough and in the past, this section bit me in the arse really hard. I mean, like, my ability to predict where the barrels were going to go, it was really bad. And the fact you have to keep turning the camera as well, it can lead to a pretty frustrating section. And look how close I'm getting at some points. It's a little bit annoying. What I would suggest here, honestly, is just run up as fast as you can and just keep turning the camera with the L button to kind of focus it behind Fox. Because you need that camera behind you to see where the barrels are coming from. So this section is like surprisingly short. All you need to do is bring this barrel up, blow up a wall, and then just kind of shoot some things with a cannon, and that's basically it. And then we've got a boss afterwards. Yeah, it's very, very strange. Again, if they cut out that section earlier and like kind of focused on making a bigger kind of temple. Actually, I think maybe that the reason why that's that huge section outside is maybe because they did this first and realised it was too short. It's definitely, like I said in the last part about Cloud Runner Fortress, that is quite a chunky temple. Like, there's not too much to it, like, but it's the only temple in the entire playthrough that I have to do in 2 parts. Now, if you get, it kind of goes without saying, but if you get hit by fire while you're holding onto that barrel, it blows up, and because you've had to run up that entire path with this barrel and bring it up here, if it blows up, you're going to have to do that entire section again, so, you know, it's best to use caution there, because it's such a pain in the arse when you have to do it. Yep, another edit to cover that, because that was a good 30 seconds having to walk down there. It sounds really strange when I say it like that, like I'm just like trying to get a move on with this playthrough, but it feels, I just need to re-emphasise, it is just wasted time that I would have just spent talking about nothing. There's such a strange little trumpet thing when I activate it. Yep, and that's back up to where we were earlier before I did the first fade. Let's kill this guy, and then we can use his cannon. You chose the wrong profession. Yeah! Now, again, using this game's bizarre internal logic, if you destroy these things, these platforms rise up. I don't get it. I love this game, but it throws me off sometimes with the weird shit it pulls. And that's, like I said, that is basically it. We've pretty much done the temple. All we need to do now is fight the boss. And I'll get into that when we actually get into that. But first, time to commit suicide. Yep, only 2 bits of life taken away from that fall that would have killed a man. But Fox McCloud is no man, son. And yeah, to get to the boss, you have to go on this Krazoa shrine, which is really weird. Again, it kind of breaks the internal continuity of the game, because those shrines are only meant to be used for the Krazoa. But it's very strange. It's like it's a game that I feel like was made up like on the fly, if you know what I mean. As a pain in the arse who critiques things for their continuity all the time, it kind of annoys me a little bit. Right, what you want to do is definitely get as many gob tubs as you can before this, because you will be needing Tricky for this fight. Because I'm an idiot though, I didn't know you can use Tricky for this fight. I'll explain what you have to do. What's the way you actually have to beat this thing. I didn't do that because I didn't realise you could use Tricky for the fight. Now, first melt him. Again, why could you not just grab it while he was frozen? Now, this boss is unique in the fact it's the only type of boss you're going to be fighting in the game, really. Like, this is the only traditional boss. A lot of them are just going to be kind of, like, run and gun things, I guess, and hide and seek games. And there's our thumbnail. Now, what you're supposed to do to fight this thing is use Tricky to burn his tail, but I didn't do that. What I did was I ran around and hit the tail. Like I said, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to get Tricky to do that, but I've never ever done that. I've never ever heard of anyone doing it like that. Now this boss can be deceptively irritating. Like, it's mostly because I was doing the game, I was playing it wrong, I guess. But like, it's not so much this, it's the second section, because this involves a lot of waiting around, and thankfully I've edited it out. Well, that's the end of the Star Fox Adventures playthrough. Nope, very much like Yoshi's Island, where you have to go into the frog's stomach, we're going to beat this thing up from the inside. 4 hits is all it takes. That area on the chest is where we're going to be hitting him next. But basically, the reason why this is annoying is you have to wait for him to do a certain attack. And see, I've edited past it here where I've already hit him once. And see that move there? That's what you have to do. But it took me a good 5 minutes, so I edited it all out. You haven't missed much, people. Seriously, it's just me waiting around to hit him. So overall, this boss is a little bit cool because it has this unique kind of concept. Well, unique in this game. Where you go into the stomach, and sorry, I forgot I did that. You go into the stomach and beat it up from the inside, but overall it's a bit kind of irritating and a bit boring. I love that line. And that's it for the Darkice Mines, as we get thrown up into the sky with Tricky for some reason. I don't know what the context was for this creature being down here. I don't know if Scales left it. I don't know if it was just an innocent thing we've moved into its territory and murdered. You know, I don't know. I'm just glad the game didn't feel like it needed to tell us all this. And that's it for the Darkice Mines, really, people. Yeah, it's an alright piece of the game, but I can tell it went through a rough development cycle, and it's really padded at points. But every time you beat, every time you get a spellstone, you do actually get a health upgrade. So that's kind of handy, even though, like I said, I only died once in the entire game. And that's it, really. We'll be getting back into our R wing, and next time we're going to be putting this stone where it needs to be in the Volcano Force Point Temple. So I'll see you all next time, you know, in part 7 of the Star Fox Adventures playthrough. And I ended it like William Shatner.